Alright then, welcome back everyone. Let's continue our SQL50 series then. The question name is a customer who visited but did not make any transactions. So we are given two tables here. One is the visits table. It has two columns, visit ID and customer ID. And this visit ID is the primary key here because it is the column with unique values. Okay, so it's information about the visits. And we have a transaction table here where transaction ID is the unique attribute. So this holds information about what was the visit ID and what was the transaction ID and amount. So what was the transaction that this customer performed? That's what this table contains. What we want is run the solution to find ID of users who visited without making any transactions and number of times they made these type of visits. So let's just break the question down step by step. What we want is we want ID of users. That is, we want customer IDs here, right? So our first job here, I'll just write down the observations here. We are after some customer IDs. What type of customer IDs? Who visited without making any transactions. Okay, so you need information about all the visits, right? Since you want customer ID of those who visited without making any transactions, you want information about all the visits. So in simple words, you want to perform a left join between visits table and transactions table, right? In that case, you'll get information about all the visits. Simple, right? So yeah, that's one thing. We want to perform left join, like visits left join transactions on visit ID. That's one observation. What next? Uh, and we want customer IDs and also number of times they made these type of visits. So when you just perform a left join between these two guys, there can be some duplication, right? There can be some duplication as well among customer ID because a customer can visit many number of times. So you want customer ID of those who didn't visit it, but we also want the count. So if you want count, it is simple, just group by customer ID, right? So if I want to do it, what I'll do is I'll first do a left join. So I'll come to that select statement in a bit. What I want is select star from visits. We perform a left join now, right? Because we want information about all the visits. Left join transactions T on which column? Visit ID, right? Because visit ID is the common column if you see between these two guys. So T dot visit ID equal to V dot visit ID. Okay, so first we join these two tables. So now information about all the visits, but we only want the rows. We only want the rows where transaction ID, that is the T dot transaction ID is null, right? Not equals to null, is null. Because if you want to do a null check, you'll have to use is operator. Is null. Fine. So what will this do is this will join these two tables based on visit ID, and it will only fetch the rows where transaction ID is null. That is the information about customers who didn't make any transaction. So what you can do is maybe you can just write here v dot customer ID. But the only issue here is there can be a customer who visited a multiple number of times. So there can be some duplicacy here. So you will not get unique customer IDs. So for that, what you can do is you can do group by v dot customer ID. The reason I'm doing group by here because I also want to count. Otherwise, if they have just asked for unique customer IDs, you could have just written distinct and your job would be done. But why I'm doing group by here is because I also want the count of this, right? So I'll do count of star. Count of star will count how many times this customer ID made a null transaction, right? So that's that. Let me just quickly submit it then. Yep, so this works. Idea is pretty simple. If I have to summarize in one line, first perform a left join, right? And then find the number of entries where transaction is null, group by customer ID, and group by customer ID. So automatically that v dot customer ID will have the unique customer IDs, and then count. Why count? You just count how many times this customer made a null transaction. Simple, right? So yeah, that's that for this video. I'll see you in the next one.